Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, good afternoon. We are back with the SAP IP Business Talk. And today I'm very happy that we have an COO, CTO with us. We talk about innovation, we talk about leadership, and that will be, and also, of course, digital transformation and AI in the German industry. I hope that this will extremely interesting. And also we have with us Dominic Otte. Dominic is spokesman of the Industry Council competition at the CTO Forum, and he comes from Denmark. So, welcome, Dominic Otte. Thank you very much for joining us. Great to have you here. Dominic, tell us a little bit about your background. How was your journey so far, coming from an engineering, studied engineering, and now being in a leadership role? This is a fascinating story. And to all of you in the audience out there, this is a live show. That means please write your comments, write your questions into the chat, and I will pick that up and ask that also, Dominic, when it anyhow possible. We have just 45 minutes, but I'm happy and curious what you would like to know from a CTO in the German industry about all our topics. Dominic, how was your journey so far?
So, Alex, good to see you again. Thank you very much for the intro. So, just let me say some words to my person and to my career path so far. So, I'm 48 years old. I'm married and father of 3 beautiful daughters, living near Dortmund. So, besides working, which is one of the most important part in my life, for sure, it's very important to be active and participating in all kinds of different sports, just to maintain the energy level which we all need for our challenging jobs. And besides running or cycling, I love to be in the Schmidt und Clemens gym, which we installed also for our employees. So when we finished our interview, I will go there and meet some of the employees in a different environment, which is also very important just to keep in touch and to exchange ideas in another atmosphere. So after studying applied business and technology management, I started my career at the GEA Group as an expert in lean management, focusing on transformation and restructuring production facilities by addressing the critical success factors, as we all know: quality, delivery, performance, and for sure, costs. So this was followed by a role at Trox Technik. It's a classical hidden champion, family-owned in the air distribution industry, where I was responsible for all 20 worldwide production facilities, their optimization, and the creation and implementation of modern production systems. So, and now, as you know, time flies when you have fun. So I'm now, since the past 12 years, besides holding some advisory and supervisory roles, I served as the CEO of the Schmidt and Clemens Group, a world market leader with 500 million in revenue globally. And Schmidt and Clemens is a family-owned company with over 145 years of tradition, driven by passion, innovation. Very interesting. You can see, you can read passion, innovation, tradition. We really stand on these three topics. And as a global leader in the tube system for petrochemical industry, the company sets industry benchmark. And we have very highly complex products which are manufactured in using a specialized centrifugal casting process that demand utmost precision. So with a strong focus on research and development, customer-centric service and innovation, Schmidt and Clemens continues to thrive, and the company blends tradition with a technological excellence to deliver cutting-edge solution for our markets. So in the first years when I started, the focus was on process optimization, layout optimization, especially at the headquarters. This was really necessary. But then
which kind of layout? Excuse me, layout optimization.
Yeah, you can imagine a history over 145 5 years. So the headquarter and the production facilities, it's definitely not a greenfield project. It really developed and grow over the
Okay.
years. So you can imagine it somehow looks not as in a greenfield project. So there were some adjustments needed. So in the recent years, then, while we made good progress, the focus was shifted a little bit. So now it's about technology. It's about machinery and innovation, with a strong emphasis on technology management and AI. And you also talked about leadership approach. So I think I benefit greatly from my experience in lean management, in the lean management philosophy. And let me briefly share my perspective on that. So the core competence from my point of view isn't just knowing about every tool available for optimizing processes. It's about how you bring people on board. And the experience has shaped my leadership approach throughout my career in the last years. So I think agility and transparency are the key. You need to have a deeper purpose as a company to really convince young people to come on board. So meaning open communication, flat hierarchies, and a mindset of being open to new ideas and technologies. Somehow not so easy always if you have a lot of people also on board who served the company since 30, 40 years
I
with a
mean,
lot of knowledge.
Dominic, that's an interesting point because it is often so in innovation management we have this concept which is called "not invented here."
Yes.
So which describes a certain attitude of people, which sees that when we do not invent something, it cannot come from outside. So whatever comes from
Mhm.
outside
Yes.
cannot be appropriate or
Mhm.
proper or right for us. So how can you open that up and say, okay, look, things are out there and we are not the only ones who
Mm.
obviously you are a company which has an enormous domain knowledge, obviously. So it's not like Adidas or so, where everybody thinks everybody can invent
Mhm.
something. But anyway, these
Mhm.
influences from outside, how can you bring the people to how can you create a certain mindset of openness? How is that done?
Yeah. So we implemented in the organization a position which is called technology and trend scouting. So
Hmm.
we have somebody in charge, and he really screens the market for disruptive technology topics, which can be of danger for our core business, but also looking for opportunities. So in combination with the investment in venture capital
Hmm.
funds for startup companies, we really show the organization that we, as the board, as the MDs, start to work on this mindset, to open up. And it's always important to walk the talk. So when we talk about those things, there the organization is very sensitive to see what the next steps are. And when we really adjusted the organization for the technology and trend scouting, where we have some very interesting ideas which can help us for sustainability topics we are working on to reduce our CO2 footprint, and also to let the organization work on new things. And this is from coming from my lean management philosophy and know-how. For me, a 30% solution, which is implemented right away and then being optimized in the production, is better than a 100% solution, which has never been realized.
So
So, and
this is to a certain extent, this is the opposite of the typical
100%.
German engineering approach,
Yes,
right?
yes, 100%. And for sure, this takes a while, but when we talk about culture, it's nothing you can change from now to then. You really need to keep on going. And yeah, we see that we are on a very good path right now with the topics I just mentioned. And mhm,
I have a question here from the chat, which maybe fits very well in what you're explaining us right now. So Dominic asked, in which management forum are new ideas or threats from tech scouting, so from outside,
Yeah.
are discussed, and who brings that up in such a forum?
Yeah. As I said, we invested in venture capital funds. We invested in two, and the third is just to come up. And we are in very close contact with the venture capital funds, and we defined topics together with them where we think we want to get every pitch deck you ever get in your hands. We want to see as well. So that's why, if, for example, ammonia cracking is something which is very important for us. So we defined to get everything which is just near this sector, to get the pitch decks, to get the information about the startup, and then we have the internal discussion with our experts about that.
Okay. Interesting.
So, and I think to foster the innovation and how to create the culture where employers and technology can grow together, it's very important also to have platforms. So we have the Innovation Now, so-called Innovation Now platform, Schmidt und Clemens Idea Management Platform, where all employees are encouraged to submit their ideas, and it's always impressive how many ideas and good ideas we get out of the organization. And it's always through targeted campaigns. So we really can specifically request ideas to address particularly challenges. For example,
Is
this
there,
year.
excuse me,
Mhm.
is there any incentive, or is it
Yeah.
so, or is there a remuneration? Is there an award? Anything which
Yes.
which creates a certain activity
Yes.
on that idea platform?
For the ideas we receive the employees, they get points, and then we have at the end of the year an award, and the guys with the most points, we do some events, yeah, just to celebrate together, to have an innovation award, things like this. So it's a
Fascinating.
little bit different than the traditional idea
Yeah,
management system.
because I talked a lot with that about that with Siemens,
Hmm.
and Beat Weibel, the head of IP from Siemens, explained me that this is always a tricky thing to give somebody an award for an idea or an
Yes.
invention, because then others feel not so respected and accepted because one has to win, and that means that many others did not win, and so these so creating this feeling,
Hmm.
this emotional status that every idea is relevant and important and only one can win is an issue. So is that in Schmidt and Clemens, is that accepted, so to speak, that only one can win?
No,
Um,
it's not that only one can win. So the employees with the most collected innovation points, they're together invited for an event. For
okay.
example, interesting soccer match going on,
Yes.
something, yeah, like
Okay,
this.
got you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think this is a very important pillar, yeah, that you also have a transparent innovation culture. And the platform is just built like a social media platform. So
Mhm.
you can like, you can comment, you can upload pictures. So it's interactive and more transparent. And there are very good things being developed so far,
Mhm.
which is one part. And just maybe to show which innovation we have concerning our products. We are a technology leader in a niche market for the petrochemical industry. And therefore, it's very important always to create new products which can help our customers to fulfill their targets concerning all mega trends we have,
Mhm.
especially the sustainability. So, for example, we have Scope as a Schmidt und Clemens optimized ethylene tube. It's a registered trademark of Schmidt and Clemens and represents an innovative solution in the field of tube systems. So, using a patented process, a specialized internal profile, is mechanically integrated into the centrifugal cast tubes. And these
Mhm.
tubes, which are used in steam crackers, where the internal profile is significantly increased, the inner surface area.
Mhm.
So this enhance leads to improved heat transform mixed during the hydrocarbon cracking process. So as a result, this directly contributes to the reduction of fossil fuel consumption, thereby lowering CO2. And so this is very important to be innovative on the one hand side, but also then to do all the IP work just to protect and to secure these step ahead we are
Yeah,
when we
yeah,
compare.
got you. And when
Hmm?
when when you call something an innovation, so it's a big discussion out there, also in the more academic field. So
Hmm.
what is at the end an innovation and what not? And so is a new pro. So we talk about radical innovation, disruptive innovation,
Hmm.
incremental innovation. So what you explained, these bigger surface, it's a larger
Hmm.
surface. Obviously, that makes a better interaction with the cracking gas. So it's obvious that as a it's obvious that it is a improvement of the product. So is that a typical innovation from Schmidt and Clemens, or is it that because you are in an investment market? So the companies, your B2B market investment, so I assume that you not change your products every half a year or so. So
No,
it's a long living product,
100%.
and
Yes.
so that leads me to the question: what do you call then an innovation? So when is it an innovation, and how is that dealt internally? That is
Yeah.
it normal product development? Is it product improvement? How do you deal with that?
Yeah. Good question. So, on the one hand side, for sure, it's optimization of the current and existing products.
Hmm.
So we want to be a partner and for our customers and to help them to solve their problems. Yeah.
Hmm.
And whenever we do a step in this direction, from my point of view and from my perspective, this is innovation.
Hmm.
Um, so if you now see the scope tubes I just mentioned, this was the first step in a very conservative market. So as you said, it's not a cycle of 2 or 3 months and just to come up with a new product. It's very slow, accepting market for innovation and for
Yeah.
innovative products. But this is always that we try at least to be one step ahead, that we if we see that these products are being asked for, that we now think about next steps. For example, these tubes I just mentioned, they are in the area of the steam cracker where the most heat, pressure, and corrosion exists.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of know-how. We have an excellent RDS department with a lot of experts, and our know-how, which we, if we get the data from our customers, we can help them to let them run their equipment much more efficient. So
Yeah.
we are now thinking about the next step. And in some different industry, it's maybe already standard. We want to collect data in the area where you have more than 1,000 degrees, which is
Yes.
interesting if you want to connect sensors and chip technology to our tubes just to get all the data and then with our know-how to
It's,
help
it's
them
quite a
to
rough
optimize.
environment for a chip.
Yes, yes, it's a
Absolutely.
challenge, but we like challenges on.
Yeah. There's another question, which is also very interesting, I would say. So when we talk about innovation, and
Mhm.
you said you're on a niche market, but definitely not without any competition, right? So there are others who offers more or less similar solutions. So so is there a process where you benchmark your solutions against others? Is that done by the customers? So how do you compare yourself with the others based, let's say, on products or on innovation levels or something like that?
Yeah, it is, as I said, a niche market. So for sure we have competition, but it's for us then easy to follow what is happening. So
Mhm.
it's a very close industry. So and we are participating in all fairs and symposiums worldwide to see what is happening with our competitors due to innovation. And but as I
Mhm.
said, when we are the leading company in this industry, so competitors try to copy or to follow us. So that's why it's even more
Okay.
important to protect our IP accordingly.
Absolutely, absolutely. I got the point. I have another very interesting question. We have very smart audience here, and they are
Thank
very
you.
interested in what you're saying. And this is really a good one. Maya Fenster from Israel, and he he picks up a very delicate issue when you, because we have we have here a very close relationship, obviously, between
Hmm.
you and your customers, because you really have to understand what's going on there in the
Hmm.
processes of your customers. Otherwise, you cannot really help them. So they have to explain in detail what their issues are, and then you try to solve the problem, which means you have a very strong interaction. And what my Fenster asks here is, when there is an innovation process and you know all the details from your customers, so how do you make sure that your customer is at the end not a part of the solution, so to speak? So first of all, do you have that issues, and on the other hand, how do you handle that?
I think that we don't have this issue. I'm not quite sure if I understood the question 100% correctly, but the customer doesn't have the know-how and competence
Mm.
to
Hmm.
work on any solution. So
Okay.
because if you look at our products, on the one hand side, it looks very easy. It's a tube, it's a fitting, it's a coil, and that's it. But if you go deeper in the metallurgy process,
Mhm.
it's really fantastic what is happening there. And there we really rely on our RDS department and the experience which has been built up over decades.
Yeah.
So this is not that issue for
Okay.
the time
So
being. Yeah.
at the end, your customer has just the problem,
Yep.
and tell you what the problem is, and then you solve it on a knowledge domain which has nothing to do with the customer, because you know all the details of the materials and so on.
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
okay, I got you, got you.
Yeah.
And this is nothing what your customer, the chemical industry or whatever, could talk with you, or
Yes.
could
You're right.
initiate a certain solution.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got you.
100%.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's
Uh,
stay with this innovation issue. So what kind of innovation projects? What
yeah.
kind of, especially when you mentioned you want to measure, you want to use data, so that has to do
Mhm.
with digital transformation. So what's going on
So,
at Schmidt and Clemens right now?
so as I mentioned earlier, was the scope on the production side, the innovation. And if you see what we have as a centrifugal casting company, you have a lot of very highly complex processes. So then the next innovation project we have internally is the conversion of our centrifugal casting production to a smart production based to a smart production based on the latest technology. So you name it, IoT, AI, machine learning and deep learning, machine vision, and a combination of cloud and edge computing. So just to make
And
that point. Mhm.
where does the data comes from for that? From your measurements in this
Yeah.
environment, this
So
1,000 degrees?
our challenge in the foundry is always to improve quality and thus reduce scrap. And we can save a lot of material and energy costs if we find a way how to handle it more
Mhm.
probably. So we
Ah,
want to use an AI technology to identify the need for optimization in the production chain as early as possible. Because if you only see at the end that the product is
yeah.
not as you wanted to have it, um, you put a lot of production time and cost in it. So we need something which is in order to make immediate adjustments. So this requires a very powerful AI model, which is necessary database, as you said. So currently, only a few measurement modules that are integrated in the process chain, but they are not intervene in the process. So in the future, we try to record all relevant data. We just build up AI competence center. We hired specialists, data analysts who helps us to build the data infrastructure, which is very important to have all data available and to build the corresponding algorithm on that, which we can train then. And we have a PhD running in the production facility with this topic. And very interesting to see the relevant and significant features from all a large number of measuring points. And as you said, in a foundry, it's very hot. If you want to measure every detail, you really need to go with the latest technology on that.
Okay, okay. And I have here another interesting question. We mentioned that you have close competition, and that you are technology leader, and so you have, which means per definition you have followers, and that means that IP is quite important for you to keep the distance, let's say. So one question is, which comes up here, is that how do you make sure that IP and R&D is really working close together? So in some companies we have the situation that that IP is far away, so to speak, from the rest of the company, and you really has to walk long distances to come to the IP department and to be able to talk with them.
Okay.
So how do you make sure that IP is close to the let's say innovation process and maybe even integrated? So what is your organizational approach on that?
Okay, good question. So we integrated the IP directly in the RDS department, where a lot of innovation coming from. So the intellectual property is really a valuable tool for us, as you said, to protect our technologies from imitators. So, and as a leading company, really invest heavily in that to protect it. And that's why we said we need to have short ways on that, and it's 100% fits into the RDS department where all the experts are available.
Okay, got you. And so when we talk about these digital transformation, so that has a lot to do with, on the one hand with data, on the other hand with software. So we made a study. It's an ongoing study where we ask companies how they deal with their software, with the software developers, and whether these software developers do themselves are seen as inventors. Because the classical problem is that these digital people, they don't see themselves as inventors, and insofar they don't make inventions. And this leads at the end ultimately to, we have two effects. First, that the software solutions are not protected, not patented. And because there is this myth out there, software cannot be patented. And the second problem is that they built in, so to speak, patent infringements simply because they think software cannot be patented, so they don't check whether these parts of their software might be patented from third parties. So how is that organized and done at Schmidt Clement? How do you make sure that your software developers really come up with things when they think something was invented here?
Yeah, I think this is definitely an issue, I think, in all companies, as you said. So it's important to train the organization and to inform everybody about that IP is crucial. It's crucial for us for the future. And also there, it's then mandatory that you put the IP strategy in the overall strategy. Everybody needs to know. We defined our purpose, we defined our mission and vision. We want to keep the technology leadership. So this is written on every wall we have, and it's then very important to train the people, to give examples from other companies, just that everybody, that the culture for IP is growing, because definitely it's always a topic that most of the engineers, as we talked at the beginning of the interview, they have a focus on the solution, and they're happy when they found a way how to solve a problem, but
Yeah.
they never ever have in their mind how to protect it. And for sure, this is something you only can maintain if you really train the organization and always say, okay, this is important. We really need to be careful, just to secure our leadership.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm learning here is that it's fascinating because I wrote a book 2016
Mhm.
about it's called 360-degree IP strategy. And
Okay.
at the end, what the book's saying is something trivial. I thought it means please integrate IP and innovation. Yeah,
Mhm.
that should be seen as one thing, because otherwise when you separate that, yeah, you will get in trouble. So you get at the end patents for something
Mhm.
which is for nobody interesting, and the relevant things are not protected. So what you tell me here, and some of the recensions of this book, their comment was, honestly, I have that, it's documented,
Okay.
that this is an innovative approach, okay, an unusual approach to integrate IP and innovation.
Mhm.
And obviously many years are now changed the things, and what you tell me is that at Schmidt and Clemens you have an integrated understanding that IP and innovation has to come together and even on a
100%.
strategic level,
Yes.
that should be thought as one thing.
Mhm. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's fascinating. I think
Mhm.
that's a really important aspect of the whole show, that from the board down to the organization, the necessity of IP for the company is clear, especially in the digital
Yeah.
transformation. So, what is the outlook? So, will we see digital products at Schmidt and Clemens, digital services, something like that? Is it is it the improvement of the physical product? Is it a digitally enhanced physical
Yeah.
product? So, in which direction you want to go?
It's an improvement of the products to a digital product, to also be in the position to offer digital service, as you said. So this is a combination of that. So as I said, it's a conservative industry. We need to be very patient, but we see that the industry is somehow struggling and searching for a solution, because they have a high pressure on their sustainability goals. And because we deliver, as I said, the components in the heart of every steam cracker and steam reformer, I think we have very good access to those topics. And when we then are in the position of the optimization of the product, so digital product, to offer our digital service with a digital twin, to show our customers how they can run more efficient, that we have a chance to see that in the near future.
Okay, okay. So this is an example. So I understand it now in that way, that we have still a physical product. I mean, that's clear. I mean, at the end, you have to crack these
Yes.
molecules, and you won't crack them with software, obviously. So you need a very harsh physical environment to crack. At the end of the day, the molecules, and they only react when you make it hot. um, on the other hand, we have an improvement, and efficiency gain from using on top of that software. So at the end, it is a combination, and these combination make things happen which would not be achievable without the combination. Is that correct?
That's 100% correct.
Okay,
Max.
okay, got you. And how intensive is that? So do you have hundreds and thousands of software developers for that? I assume that so do you, because Vorwerk, for example. So Vorwerk started 15 years ago with 2 or 3 software guys, and meanwhile at Vorwerk they have the same amount of physical engineering and software engineers in the department. It's 50 now. So what is your ratio, and how intensive is that?
We're just at the beginning. So the number you just mentioned from Vorwerk, we don't have yet. So we start really with our organization, with the people we have on board. We are a middle-sized company. It's also not possible always to create departments with a lot of people. So we really need to do it a little bit hands-on on those topics. But I see that these issues and topics are becoming more and more important for us. As I said, we created the Competence Center for AI. We defined use cases. I think use cases, more or less every company is searching for internal chatbot to simplify onboarding processes, for example. But also questionnaire chatbot, because we got a lot of questionnaires from our customers. We need to fulfill their requests. We are looking for solutions to convert 2D and 3D drawings into work plans directly. Interesting use case. Then we have, due to the fact that we have very complex contracts and terms and conditions, we also are looking for an interesting solution. We are just about to implement to digitalize and automate these topics. And so we see that there is a need definitely for more and more software engineers, and that's why we need to work on the employer branding to be attractive for people to join our journey on passion, innovation, and tradition.
Absolutely.
For the time being, we get the people we are looking for. Because as I said, when you present yourself as an agile company, that you're open for new ideas, flat hierarchies, this is where the people are looking for in nowadays. So yeah.
Okay. So so obviously software becomes more and more important,
100%.
and especially when you say the ESGs or the sustainability pressure is there at your customers, and at the end, your customers expect from you to deliver something with which they can fulfill these regulations, and obviously the regulations will not become softer. They will more and more rigid, and obviously the chemical industry is one of the cornerstones on sustainability regulations, and really on the spot and focus. So, which means at the end we need more and more software components that will be more and more important, that you can deliver. And just with the physics, we won't do that. We need this component to make the product more intelligent and to deliver better to the sustainability objective. So that leads me to a leadership question, because as we all know, software guys are different, and software itself is different. So you have a very long history as a company with, and also your cornerstone is your production process, which is also very physical. And now come these software guys into the company, and software becomes more and more important, as I said, from some companies in which I really have seen that. This is also a leadership issue, because these guys work different, they talk different, I mean, we adapt more and more with our clothes to the software industry, but still software guys are different. And sometimes it comes really to a clash of civilization, of cultures, between, let's say, classical engineering and software guys. So what is your experience in your company, and how do you deal with that kind of challenges?
Okay, I think we are all different. For sure, maybe there are IT guys and the experts are a little bit special on the one or other hand. But if you, maybe to put it that way, we are a company which produce globally. You have different cultures. Um, so you always need to adapt a little bit and to see what you have in common at the end of the day. And what I see, and this is just very important, I think it's easy, but it's important if you have really one target, one goal, one strategy to say, this is where we all are working in, and we are all, it's only going to function if everybody, doesn't matter which department, give its best to serve this overall target and goal. Then I think these differences are not that, it's not
Get you.
bothering me.
Get
Yeah.
you. Okay, it's a common goal, a common culture which you
Yes.
develop to bring them all in. So there is one question which is also very interesting. So obviously Schmidt and Clemens is a very old company, has as I said,
Mhm.
is innovation leader, technology leader in your market. It's well
Mhm.
known in your market. It has a strong brand. So and it's at the same time it's a deep tech company. Yeah? So you really live from your technological
Mhm.
knowledge. So the question is there do you have a recommendation for entrepreneurs? And you said you work also with investors in
Mhm.
startups. So when entrepreneurs coming from or going into the direction of this deep tech branch, so to speak, is there a recommendation in terms of brandings and trademarks, or how how should they use that? So is it smart to trying to become a strong brand, or let's at the end it's just the technology and it's not necessary to brand at all? So what is your perspective on that?
No, it's always depending on the each and every attitude you have and you develop. From my point of view, it's always very important to be on the top and to be the leading company and to go into this direction. And if you have deep technology, and if you have really something which can help your industry, your customers to have benefits, then I think it's easy then to position in that direction with the corresponding marketing activities, just to point out the USP you have. If you
Yeah,
have
it's just expensive.
protected them, with the
Yeah.
IP accordingly.
Okay.
Otherwise,
So
you need to be
your
careful on that.
recommendation, excuse me.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Go
your
ahead.
recommendation
Mhm.
is to combine patents and trademarks around the customer benefit, and especially the unique selling proposition, which, by the way, is not trivial, because typically companies just patent when they have an invention. So what does that mean for the customer benefit or for unique selling propositions is a completely different question.
Mm.
And quite often trademarks and patents are organized in different departments and
Okay.
so on. So
Mm.
saying that, yeah, that this has to be seen integrated is one thing, doing it is something different. Dominic, thank you very much for this talk, for this
Mhm.
interview. We're running out of time. I'm full of questions, and we have still some
Mm.
open questions. So it would be great when you could help us on LinkedIn a
Oh,
little
yes.
bit, that you answer that there for the audience
Mhm.
in the after show hour on LinkedIn. Thank you very much for joining us and for being open and telling us these insights in a German medium-sized enterprise and a deep tech company. Thank you very much. And to the
Thank you for the
audience,
opportunity, Alex. Was always nice talking to you.
welcome. To the audience, bye-bye. We see us next week with Sebastian Goebel, and we talk about using AI to streamline patent drafting. Something which is a fascinating um, um, uh, tendency at the moment. and we will talk about the pros and cons on this trend. Bye bye.
Excellent. Bye bye. Thanks again.